Hello everyone, this is TJ here from Mac Advisor UK. Today I'm going to be giving you my first impressions on the iPhone 5. Now, I've been using this for about 24 hours now, so I'll just give you my initial thoughts on using the device. It's all positive, all good stuff. It's certainly worthwhile getting in my opinion. There is one very slight negative which I will mention at the end of the video, and a couple of questions which I'll briefly answer, but I will be doing other videos on the iPhone 5 in the coming days and over the next week. So, first up, the first thing I wanted to point out is the design of the phone. Now, the phone has been redesigned, only slightly because there is only so much you can do with the phone, but it is extremely thin and light. You notice this when you first hold the phone, just how thin and light it is. I've previously owned an iPhone 4, for those of you that have been following my videos for a while, and this is that was thin and light as it was, but holding this in your hand, it's incredibly light and it just feels very thin in the hand. So I did read a comment somewhere that somebody said that it felt like it was hollow, and you do get that feel when you're holding it. Considering it's made of aluminium, you would think it would have some sort of weight to it, but it does feel incredibly light and very thin, as you can see on the profile there. There's practically nothing to it, and the design is great. I mean, the aluminium and the two-tone back. I've obviously gone for the black and slate model, and you can see, depending on how the light catches on the back plating there, then you sort of get a different kind of effect on it. It looks more light greyish than a dark slate in some situations. So it's just very nice. You've got that nice quality build feel to it, and you can just see how the light catches it. And the fact the screen doesn't sort of stick up over the edge here like it does on the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, which sort of was a stainless steel band that went all the way around, sandwiched between two pieces of glass. This is sort of recessed into the casing here, so that doesn't stick up at all, and it just gives a nice quality feel to the phone. And what I would suggest to anybody who's thinking of getting the iPhone 5, if you just want to go and have a look, or maybe if you're waiting to upgrade on a contractor one, go to a phone store, go to an Apple store, and make sure you pick this up and get this in your hand, because as soon as you pick it up you're going to say that I want one, because it just feels incredibly thin and light. That said, it is obviously going to be durable because it's made of aluminium, so it's not going to feel like it's going to break at all. The other thing as well is the screen. Obviously we've noticeably got a larger screen on the phone, which is 4 inches taller, which I love. I'm not a fan of the fatter, wider, bigger screens that you see on some of the smartphones, mainly because I like the phone to fit nicely in my pocket, which this does. It is sort of a little bit taller than the iPhone 4 and 4S, and they've decreased the border at the top and the bottom a little bit, which is how they've managed to increase the overall screen size by ½ an inch. So the tall screen is a bonus when you're using apps and various different things. As an example, let me just go into Twitter. I'll just go on to the main timeline here. Twitter has obviously been optimized for the iPhone 5 now, so you just get to see more on the screen, and it's a joy to use, and particularly when you're using it one-handed. I think Apple have put out a commercial showing that the thumb can pretty much reach all over the display, and I think the taller 4-inch display is obviously optimised for using it with one hand, which I love. I've had many instances where I've had something in the other hand and needed to use the phone one-handed, and you can just about reach all over the phone with the thumb. So that's something that I like, the fact that you can operate it one-handed, because I very rarely use the phone with two hands unless I'm playing a game. And also if you go into things like, let's just go into Safari, and we'll just go onto a website, whichever one. I think I've picked the Apple site there, and everything's just optimized for the bigger screen, and you just get a larger canvas to do everything on it. It's just nice that you do get that bit of extra screen real estate to play around with for whatever it is that you're using, particularly for news feeds and things. I mean, I use an app here, Mac Hash, so you get various news stories on various Apple related things, so I can keep up to date. And this has obviously been optimized, and you just can see more on the screen and just read more, which is useful for people that use it for that. Obviously in widescreen mode, let me just go into videos. Let me just put a video on, I'm not sure which one this is. Batman Begins, I think. You can just see that the movie runs full screen, full widescreen, so you don't have the black borders at the top and the bottom. It doesn't cut any of the movie off. And that works for a lot of things, whether it's video on the web, YouTube, if the videos are in that particular format. and various games as well. I've got Asphalt 7 here, which I've been playing. I've downloaded this specifically so I could play it on the iPhone 5. This has been optimised for the iPhone 5 screen, and this just looks great in widescreen, particularly when you're using the controls on the left and right hand side of the screen. You've still got enough screen real estate in the middle to sort of play the game nicely. Some of the other apps on that haven't been optimised yet for the larger display. About half the apps I've got have been updated to take advantage of the larger screen. The rest I'm still waiting to be updated, but the developers seem to be getting those out fairly quickly. Every few hours there seems to be a new update for that. So in regards to the screen, it just seemed to have more gloss to it, not necessarily a glossy finish. As in reflective, it just seems to be more glossy in its overall appearance compared to the screen on the iPhone 4, and it does seem to be a lot more colourful when I compare it to my iPhone 4. And of course it's also much brighter, which you tend to notice with new screens on anything. They always tend to be a lot brighter. So love the screen on this, and it's the perfect size as well. Speed wise, this has the A6 processor in it, so it's great for, I've been playing Asphalt 7 as I just mentioned. It's great for running that, no problems at all. And just general overall navigating through the OS. Normally I would boot the phone up first thing in the morning and put some music on my iPhone whilst I'm getting ready in the morning, and usually when I tap on the music icon, the screen will come up and it will take a few seconds for it to actually load into my album list here, or load into my list of artists, whichever one I happen to be on, and it just comes up instantly using the A6 processor. And just overall navigating through the OS and going through various things, everything just seems to come up so fast. So it's a nice improvement over the iPhone 4. Just whizzes through everything that it can do, and obviously graphics wise, when I've been using Asphalt 7 here, it just runs that perfectly. So I'm grateful for the speed improvement that gives. Obviously coming from an older iPhone, you will notice the speed improvement, particularly if you've got a 3GS. I think one of my regular viewers on Twitter mentioned they'd upgraded from a 3GS and noticed the drastic improvement in the speed. So overall speed improvement as you would expect. Now the camera on the back here is an 8 megapixel camera. Comes with a LED flash, and there's a microphone there for video recording. Shoots 1080p video. I've not done any video on it yet. I have used the panorama feature. If I just go into the camera there, if you go into options, you'll see panorama, and you can pan through the scene, and I've tested that on a couple of things, and it works fine. The only thing I would say is you do have to keep it quite steady to keep it on the line that goes through the middle to try and keep the picture even, and you do have to actually pan through the scene a lot slower than I would like. But apart from that, it's probably something I'll get used to, but that works really well. And the camera is pretty quick, so I'm just going to take some photos here. You'll just see that you can take photos really quick instantly. Just that's how quick how quick it is to take photos. I mean, using the iPhone 4, it's been incredibly slow between each photo to sort of take another one, and this one just takes photos, you know, probably half a second. I don't know what the exact precise time is for taking a photo, but something like half a second, maybe less, just between taking photos. So you can take photos extremely fast with the camera on this, and I've taken some pictures for a couple of things I was listing on eBay earlier using the camera, and they've turned out really well, so I'm very pleased with the camera. And the front facing camera here is 720p, so I've tried taking a couple of photos with that and they look pretty good even indoors in sort of low light, so a big improvement on that. Now something else is battery life. I started using this around midday yesterday, roughly around lunchtime, and it was fully charged when I started using it, and it took me till about 5 o'clock this afternoon to run the battery down completely from full to empty, and that's pretty much using it not how I would normally use it. I mean, I've had 3G on, I've had Wi-Fi on, I've been testing various functions on the phone, watching video, playing games and everything, so really pushing the phone in how I would normally use it. And that's sort of taken me from about midday yesterday up until 5 o'clock today to drain the battery completely. I left it on overnight as well, which is something I never do, because I wanted to test out the new Do Not Disturb feature, which you can see here. So it doesn't sort of notify you of any incoming messages or anything overnight. So I'm pretty pleased with the battery life. I think normally I would keep 3G turned off and I would not use it overnight. So I can see that I could probably get 2 days out of the battery on this just through normal usage. So that seems to be a plus with the battery life. The other thing as well, you get the ear pods with the iPhone. I've not had a chance to test those, but I will of course either do a video on that or include it in my iPhone 5 review at the end of it. The one slight negative I would say with this is I've noticed with Wi-Fi that the Wi-Fi's dropped out occasionally. It hasn't done it so much today, but yesterday the Wi-Fi tended to drop out on occasion, and it would revert to the 3G signal in the phone. Now I did read that Apple would be introducing in iOS 6 a feature whereby it would just default to whichever is the fastest network. So if your Wi-Fi signal drops out, it would switch over to the 3G network if that was faster, and vice versa. But when I did some research on that yesterday, that didn't make the final cut into the phone. So whether it was just my router playing up because it hasn't really done it so much today, or whether it is a slight issue with the phone or something with iOS 6, I'm not sure, but it seems to be okay today. I think it's just done it once or twice today, and I've sort of been in various different areas of the house today compared to yesterday, and it seems to be okay. So it's just something I want to keep my eye on, and something I thought I'd mention in my initial observation, just to see how that pans out. But that's pretty it. That's my initial observations of the phone. It's just fantastic. I can't praise it highly enough. I mean, the quality of the design is great. The build quality of the phone, I really like the two-tone back. I think the black and slate model has actually been one of the popular designs. I've not seen any white ones yet. I've not had a chance really to look at many of the unboxing videos that other YouTubers have done, but the black and slate one certainly seems to be the most popular. Certainly a very nice looking phone. I really like the bottom of the phone here, just the way that the holes for the speaker and the microphone have all been machined into the aluminium. It just looks very nice, and I think I do like the headphone jack on the bottom now that I've sort of been using it and got used to it. It does give the top of the phone a nice clean look, and I don't very often listen to music on my phone, so it's probably not going to be much of a problem for me anyway, but I do like to have the headphone jack on the top of the iPad, so hopefully I'm hoping they don't move that around on the iPad, because I do actually use it on the iPad a lot. But the phone I really can't praise enough. It's fantastic. A couple of questions I will quickly answer on camera is one is to do with scratches, because there's been a few things in the news about it being scratched. A couple of people have purposely scratched the phone because they're one of these mad sort of people that go out and buy iPhones and smash them to bits or blend them up or what have you, and they did scratch the back with a set of keys on purpose. Obviously that's not going to relate to real world use, and some people have asked me, you know, will it scratch and all this. At the end of the day, this is a phone, so it's not indestructible, so it will scratch at some point, whether it's within 24 hours of you having it or 6 months from now. At some point it is going to scratch, just through normal usage. So if you are worried about that, then perhaps get a case for it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get a case. I may just go for something like a Zag invisible shield just to cover the back, because I really like how thin and light the phone is, and I don't particularly want to add any bulk to it. I'll probably end up getting a few cases and using them now and again, but I think I might go for a Zag invisible shield, but we'll see anyway. I've had a few instances where I've put the phone down and heard a crunch. There's maybe been a bit of grit or some salt from my lunch on the table, and I've just sort of picked it up all worried that the back's been scratched, but luckily it hasn't, so that is going to be a concern maybe. But as I say, it's a smartphone, so every single phone in the world scratches no matter what you do to it, and just through general day-to-day use it probably will get scratched. And the second point I just wanted to quickly cover is, should you upgrade to the iPhone 5, because I'm getting asked this a lot. Yes, and I would say if you're switching from a different brand of smartphone looking for an iPhone, go for this, because this has everything in it. If you're upgrading from an older iPhone, it's going to be a bonus. If you're upgrading from an iPhone 4 or below, then obviously it's going to be a plus. If you've got a 4S and you've downloaded iOS 6, then it's probably not so much of an upgrade, so I'd probably say stick with your 4S, maybe wait for the next phone to come out. If you've got the money, then obviously go for it. But generally, by and large, I would say it's certainly a worthwhile upgrade. I mean, once you actually see this in a store and you pick it up and hold it in your hand, and the fact that you've got that extra bit of screen real estate for watching videos, playing games, and just navigating through various different things, you just get that extra screen real estate, which just makes it a joy, particularly when you're using vertical apps and you're scrolling through them. You just notice that you've got that extra bit of space on there, which is a nice bonus. So those are my first impressions on the iPhone 5. I will have other iPhone 5 videos coming, and probably in about a week's time I'll do my full in-depth review, which will be fairly long. Some of you follow me know that I like to do a nice in-depth review. But if anybody has any questions or any requests for videos, then obviously you can post those below, and I'll do my best to accommodate any requests that I get. So thank you all for watching. If you have any comments or questions, submit them below, send me an email, message me on Facebook or Twitter, as many of you do. Those social links are below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video.